Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Punjab goes to polls in less than 72 hours from now, and a massive controversy has broken out. A controversy that has engulfed the party that is confident of sweeping the state in this election. Arvind Kejriwal was accused, without being named of course, of backing separatist elements in Punjab by a man who was once his closest confidant. In fact, Kumar Vishwas made the allegation yesterday, but today it was Prime Minister Narendra Modi who actually picked up the issue and charged Arvind Kejriwal of being somebody who cannot protect this country and take care of its security. And this charge came at a time when the election fever in Punjab is at its highest temperature. With the Prime Minister's statement, there has been charge, countercharge, and a response that's coming in from the Aam Aadmi Party. Today, the Prime Minister, who was campaigning in Punjab, took a veiled jibe and without naming Arvind Kejriwal, slammed him for trying to break India. He even went on to say that there was no difference between Pakistan and people like these who will go to any lengths for power. He may not have named Kejriwal, but his choice of words gave it away. Listen in to the Prime Minister.
जो कल उन्होंने उन्हीं के एक साथी ने इनके चरित्र का जो वर्णन किया है, इसको हर मतदाता ने, हर देशवासी ने बड़ी गंभीरता से लेने की जरूरत है। पंजाब के मेरे भाइयों और बहनों, ये लोग पंजाब को तोड़ने का सपना पाले हुए हैं। ये लोग सत्ता के लिए अलगाववादियों से भी हाथ मिलाने को तैयार है। सत्ता पाने के लिए इन लोगों को अगर देश भी तोड़ना पड़े तो ये उसके लिए भी तैयार है। इनका एजेंडा और देश के दुश्मनों का एजेंडा, पाकिस्तान का एजेंडा अलग है ही नहीं।
Not too long after, the Aam Aadmi Party held a press conference to counter the claims made by the Prime Minister. The party accused its rivals for falling for malicious propaganda peddled by a disgruntled former colleague. Listen in to Raghav Chadha of the Aam Aadmi Party.
मुझे ये लगता है कि पंजाब की आवाम बहुत चौकन्ना है और वो समझ रहे हैं कि ये बेईमान ताकतें इस ईमानदार जोड़ी को, इस ईमानदार पार्टी को, अरविंद केजरीवाल जी को बर्बाद करने की कोई कसर नहीं छोड़ेंगे। हर संभव षड्यंत्र करे जाएंगे और पंजाब के लोग ये देख रहे हैं कि ये षड्यंत्र है, मिलिशियस प्रोपेगेंडा है। एक ही इंटेंट है कि अरविंद केजरीवाल को रोको, आम आदमी पार्टी को बर्बाद करो। पंजाब के लोग ये समझते हैं कौन सा आतंकवादी वर्ल्ड क्लास एजुकेशन देता है अपने सूबे के बच्चों को, कौन सा आतंकवादी वर्ल्ड क्लास हेल्थ केयर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर बनाता है, कौन सा आतंकवादी शहीदों को, सैनिकों को शहादत पे उनके परिवार वालों को 1 करोड़ रुपए की राशि देता है, कौन सा आतंकवादी महिलाओं को मुफ्त में बस यात्रा कराता है, कौन सा आतंकवादी गरीब लोगों के घर में उनका मसीहा बनकर घर घर तक राशन पहुंचाता है, कौन सा आतंकवादी करता है? मैं पूछना चाहता हूं लोगों से, बताएं। ये सब बेईमान लोग हैं, इनकी दुकानें बंद होने वाली हैं।
Now, this is not the only controversy over Punjab security. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you remember the time when there was a security breach during the Prime Minister's visit to Punjab, and that is still resonating in the election discourse. Yesterday, Home Minister Amit Shah, during his election rally, lashed out at the Congress government in Punjab and said that how can the people of Punjab trust a party that couldn't secure the Prime Minister to safeguard his charge was met with a rebuttal from former Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh, who said that such comments were an insult to Punjabis. Security of Punjab is essential for the safety of this country. This is a border state with a 543-kilometer border between Punjab and Pakistan. And we all know that tricks that Pakistan has often resorted to, from smuggling of narcotics to dropping arms and ammunition via drones. It is also a state where pro-Khalistan groups are infamous of stoking unrest. We've seen such attempts being made, especially during the farmers' agitation, during the Andolan against the farm laws. So the legitimate question on the NewsHour tonight is, who's playing politics with Punjab's safety? That's the question, and that's the debate coming up on the other side.
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Joining me tonight, Manjinder Singh Sirsa, national spokesperson of the BJP, Dr. Anand Ranganathan, author Sanjay Jha, suspended Congress leader, Atishi, MLA and national spokesperson of the Aam Aadmi Party. And my first question goes to Mr. Manjinder Singh Sirsa. Manjinder Saab, I want to ask you, why is this issue being raised up now? Because these allegations are old, they've been raised by the BJP in the past, but why now, 72 hours ahead of polling in Punjab? Is it because, as the Aam Aadmi Party has charged the BJP, you're nervous because they're running ahead as far as the ground reports, the polls that are right now giving any projections show them in the lead as far as Punjab is concerned? Is that the timing that was chosen by the BJP to make these allegations?
Navika, neither it is about the timing, neither we are one to decide. It is all about the people who are too close to Arvind Kejriwal, who has leveled us serious allegations against Kejriwal. First of all, it is an election. और इस इलेक्शन में सबका फर्ज बनता है वोटरों तक सारी सच्चाई पहुंचाने का। ये कोई नई बात नहीं है। देश में अरविंद केजरीवाल आज पंजाब में गए हैं, वो देश के अंदर पंजाब में वो सब मुद्दे उठा रहे हैं, चाहे वो 10 साल पुराने, चाहे 20 साल, चाहे 1984 का मुद्दा है, आज से 35 साल पुराना है। तो क्या अरविंद केजरीवाल उस पर चुप्पी साधे हुए? नहीं, हर मुद्दे पे बोला जाएगा, वोटर को बताया जाएगा, क्योंकि उस जो हम बात बताते हैं उससे वोटर के एक क्लैरिटी आती है कि ये थॉट प्रोसेस किस थॉट प्रोसेस के साथ हमारे बीच में आएंगे। तो इसमें कुछ गलत नहीं है, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल। सेकेंडली, मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंटली, अगर ये मुद्दा गलत है, इसकी टाइमिंग गलत है, तो फिर अरविंद केजरीवाल चुप्पी क्यों साधे हुए हैं? अरविंद केजरीवाल ने आज आम आदमी पार्टी ने इलेक्शन कमीशन के पास गई और उसको रोक लगाई जाए स्टेटमेंट के ऊपर। अगर ये स्टेटमेंट है ही नहीं, इस स्टेटमेंट में दम ही नहीं है, जैसे अभी अतीशी जी कहेंगे 3 करोड़ लोग पंजाबी हमारे साथ हैं, भाई 3 करोड़ ये भी हैं, 3 करोड़ विदेशों वाले भी आपके साथ हैं, पर फिर इलेक्शन कमीशन पे डर क्यों? अरविंद केजरीवाल क्यों डरे हुए हैं? क्यों जाके रोक लगा रहे हैं? अगर ये बयान झूठा है तो बजाय चुप रहने के सामने आकर बोलते क्यों नहीं? ये तो अरविंद केजरीवाल की भाषा है भाई। वो प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस करके कहा करते थे, देखिए मैं बताना चाहता हूं, और फिर 1 महीने बाद जाके माफी मांग लेते थे, सर मेरे से गलती होगी। किस किस से माफी मांगी? चाहे वो विक्रम सिंह मजीठिया हो, चाहे लेट स्वर्गीय अरविंद के जेटली साहब हो, चाहे वो हमारे यहाँ के अब के मंत्री हो, और किन किन लोगों से? तो हम नहीं उठा रहे, उनके साथी ने उठाया, पंजाब को याद आया, हम लोगों का फर्ज बनता है। अरविंद केजरीवाल ने जवाब नहीं दिया, उसने चुप्पी साध ली, तो समझ में आने लग पड़ा कि दाल में कुछ काला है, तो हम मजबूर होकर बोलने को मजबूर हुए। अरविंद केजरीवाल उस पर सफाई देते, अपनी बात बताते और कहते कि ये झूठ बोल रहा है, उस दिन कमरे में ये वाली बात नहीं, ये वाली बात हुई थी, तो सब लोग चुप कर जाते। अगर वो जाके इलेक्शन कमीशन पे इस पे रोक नहीं लगाते, ना कहते चुप करा, इलेक्शन कमीशन पे रोक क्यों? अभी हम यहां बैठे नाविका जी, मैं अतिशी बहन को कहता हूं कुछ भी दिल करता है वो बोले, मैं इलेक्शन कमीशन पे रोक लगवाने नहीं जाऊंगा। जो दिल करता है वो बोले, क्योंकि सच सच है, झूठ झूठ है। और अगर ये सच ही नहीं था तो क्या जरूरत पड़ गई आम आदमी पार्टी को इस पे रोक लगवाने की?
चलिए सिरसा जी, आपने कहा दाल में कुछ काला है। आपको भी पता है और हमें भी पता है कि पंजाब में काली दाल यानी माँ की दाल बड़ी फेमस है और सबकी बड़ी फेवरेट है, पर दाल में क्या काला है आतिशी जी, जो इस वक्त सिरसा साहब जिस पर अपनी उंगली उठा रहे हैं? जवाब दीजिए।
यार ये बहुत फेमस।
Navika ji, 3 days are left for the polling in Punjab, and then these so-called allegations emerge about something that was supposedly said in 2017 inside a closed room, where supposedly Arvind Kejriwal, who was planning to tear apart Punjab, called a group of people and said कि मैं ये करने वाला हूं। वो लोग 5 साल तक अलग अलग पार्टियों के साथ जुड़ गए, but in 5 years no one decided to mention it. For 5 years no one decided to speak out against it. For 5 years BJP government, who is in the center, did not investigate it. For 5 years, Congress party, which is in power in Punjab, did not investigate it. It is only 72 hours before the Punjab polling that all of a sudden these so-called allegations emerged. The people of Punjab are not fools. Do not think Akalis, BJP, Congress have got into an unholy alliance. All these three parties have got into an unholy alliance because they know that the people of Punjab are standing with Arvind Kejriwal and Bhagwant Mann, and they want to bring an honest party into power. And that is what these parties are scared of, and that is why they are looking to spread this malicious propaganda 72 hours before.
But Atishi, one question that I want to ask you, there is no timing for truth to come out. You know, your worst critics will tell you that there is no timing for truth to come out. Sometimes after many years, people write books and truth tumbles out of cupboards that it had been locked up in. So timing, is that your best defense?
Navika, the timing of this so-called allegation by Kumar Vishwas and this so-called allegation by Alka Lamba makes it very clear that it is an absolute and utter lie. Because if Arvind Kejriwal had said this 5 years ago, then were they accomplices? Were they accomplices in this so-called separatist activity, that they did not raise their objections against it, that they did not speak out in the public against it? Were they accomplices in this activity? We have seen this time.
Fair point. सिरसा जी, आतिशी ने बड़ा ही इम्पोर्टेंट मुद्दा उठाया है. आज आपको कुमार विश्वास की आवाज और उनकी जो कही हुई बात है वो बिल्कुल प्योर गोल्ड लग रही है. ये अगर 5 साल से चुप थे तो इसका मतलब, और ये भी उनके साथ शामिल थे, और इन पर एक्शन क्यों नहीं होना चाहिए? अगर आप केजरीवाल पर मुद्दा उठा रहे हैं तो कुमार विश्वास पर भी उठाइए, क्योंकि चुप रहना is also helping the terrorists.
नाविका, बिल्कुल आपने ठीक कहा. पहले तो मैं आपको टाइमिंग के लिए क्लैरिफाई कर दूं, ये जो हमारी बहन आतिशी जी ने कहा है ये गलत है. 2017 में भी इसी तरह ये मुद्दा उठा. अरविंद केजरीवाल एक सेपरेटिस्ट के घर, एक अलगाववादी के घर जाके रुके. नहीं आतिशी जी, देखिए आप अपनी बात करते वक्त हमने कुछ नहीं बोला, लेकिन आप आतिशी जी आप अकेले बोल लीजिए. नहीं, आप अकेले बोल लीजिए. अगर ऐसे बात करने, मैंने आप देखो पिछली टीवी चैनल पे भी आपकी यही दिक्कत है, जब सच्चाई सामने आने लगती है आप शोर मचाना शुरू कर देते हो. नाविका, इट इज नॉट द फर्स्ट टाइम शी इज डूइंग दिस. आई डोंट, दिस इज नॉट अ फेयर. शी हैज बीन टेकिंग हर पॉइंट एंड वी हैव बीन क्वाइटली लिसनिंग टू इट. बट व्हेन इट कम्स टू हर, व्हेन शी फील्स
Atishi ji, I'm requesting you. I will give both of you equal opportunity to speak. You know, you made your point. Allow Sirsa ji to speak. I'll give you time to rebut. She's saying जांच क्यों नहीं हुई, इसका भी जवाब दे दीजिए.
सर मैं बताता हूँ जांच क्यों नहीं हुई. मैं बताता हूँ, उस पर भी आता है. सबसे पहले 2017 में एक जो अलगाववादियों के घर पर जाके रुकते हैं, ये तो सबके सामने है. अरविंद केजरीवाल ने बाद में ये एक्सक्यूज ली कि मुझे पता नहीं था कि अलगाववादियों का घर है, और फिर उसके लोगों ने बताया कि इसके भाई से तो आपने चंदा भी लिया. ये बात भी सामने आई. अगर आपके जहन में हो तो ये बात भी सामने आई कि उससे तो पैसे भी लिए गए. चलो एक बात, 2017 में जो आपने किया, उस वक्त ये जब इशू रेस हुआ तो अरविंद केजरीवाल जी ने तो सफाई देते हुए मान ही लिया कि मैं अलगाववादियों के घर रुका हूं. ये बात मैं नहीं कह रहा, केपीएस गिल ने भी ये बात कही. लेट केपीएस गिल का आप अभी ट्वीट देखें, मैंने अपने ट्विटर पे ट्वीट किया हुआ 1 घंटा पहले, उनकी वीडियो ट्वीट की है. अरविंद के उस वक्त केपीएस गिल ने भी ये कहा कि अरविंद केजरीवाल जो इस तरह के हार्डलाइनर्स हैं, जो सेपरेटिस्ट ग्रुप हैं, उनके साथ जुड़े हुए हैं, जाने अनजाने में उनसे सपोर्ट ले रहे हैं, फाइनेंशियल भी और उनसे मॉरल सपोर्ट भी और वोटर्स इलेक्टोरल सपोर्ट भी ले रहे हैं. ये मैं नहीं कह रहा, ये केपीएस गिल ने कहा. अब आइए, आपने कहा कि उस पर कार्रवाई क्यों ना हो. आशुतोष, सॉरी, जो ये कल दी गई स्टेटमेंट दी गई कुमार विश्वास द्वारा, ठीक है, उस पर कार्रवाई जरूर करे सरकार. मैं तो कह रहा हूं कि अगर वो भी इलेक्शन लड़ता तो आज उसके भी लोग चितड़े उड़ा देते. बात है कि पब्लिक में जो लोग रहेंगे उनके घर शीशे के होते हैं. पब्लिक में रहने वाले लोगों की कोई भी गलती माफी नहीं की जा सकती. ना वो टाइमिंग के साथ माफ की जा सकती है, ना लेट सवेर माफ की जा सकती है. मैं तो स्पष्ट रूप से पूछता हूं आतिशी जी से, आतिशी जी, अरविंद केजरीवाल जी चुप क्यों है? अरविंद केजरीवाल जी चुप्पी क्यों साधी हुई है? अरविंद केजरीवाल जी ने क्यों इलेक्शन स्टेशन पे जाके इस पे रोक लगाई। मैं तो मान लेता हूँ ये झूठ है, मैं तो मान लेता हूँ ये झूठ है, पर आप ये तो बता दीजिए कि आपने इसके ऊपर रोक क्यों लगवाई है?
5 साल से
क्यों रोक लगाई आपने? पंजाब के लोग तो आपके साथ आप बता रहे हैं। नहीं तो आप तो पिछली बार भी कहते 100 सीटें आएंगी, ये तो आप भी कागज पकड़ के लिख कर देते 100 सीटें आएंगी। शुक्र है इस बार तो आप 7 सीटें मान रही हैं। आतिशी जी पिछली बार भी आप कह रहे थे लोग हमारे साथ हैं, फिर क्या हुआ? आप कह रहे थे 100 सीटें आएंगी हमें, आप कह रहे थे 100 सीटें आएंगी, इस बार तो आप क्या ही काट रहे हैं? तो आप देश के साथ अगर कोई गलत काम करेंगे, अगर अरविंद केजरीवाल पाकिस्तान के लिए सफाइयां मांगेगा देश से कि सर्जिकल स्ट्राइक के एविडेंस दिए जाए, तो लोग इलेक्शन में सवाल पूछेंगे। आतिशी जी लोग सवाल पूछेंगे,
झूठ बोल
सवाल पूछेंगे।
इलेक्शन में 2 दिन
जांच की जांच आप बताइए ना, आप पाकिस्तान के लिए सबूत नहीं मांग रहे थे?
वाले हैं, इसलिए
आप पाकिस्तान के लिए सबूत नहीं मांग रहे थे? अरविंद केजरीवाल जी ने ये नहीं कहा कि सर्जिकल स्ट्राइक के लिए सबूत दिए जाए, वो क्यों मांगना चाहते थे आर्मी से सबूत? क्यों मांगना चाहते थे? आतिशी जी आप बताएं, ये बातें एक नहीं है। कल अरविंद केजरीवाल जी पंजाब में कह रहे थे कि हिंदू जो है वहां पे असुरक्षित है। मैं आपसे पूछना चाहता हूँ, बताइए कि कौन सा हिंदू असुरक्षित है पंजाब में और किससे असुरक्षित है पंजाब में? नाविका, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, आई थिंक आतिशी वुड लाइक टू रिस्पॉन्ड ऑन दिस। अरविंद केजरीवाल yesterday said कि मेरे को कुछ हिंदू व्यापारी मिले, उन्होंने कहा कि उनको खतरा है, वो डरे हुए हैं, वो व्यापारी डरा हुआ है, वो सहमे हुए हैं। भाई किससे डरे हैं? क्या हम सिखों से खतरा है लोगों को? किस तरह से हम?
1 minute, allow me to moderate this debate. 1 minute. Atishi, you made your point. I couldn't hear what Sirsa ji was saying. Sirsa ji, you ask a quick question, 10 seconds to you, and I'll get the response from Atishi ji. One by one, please.
Specific question.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Atishi, so my first question is, Arvind Kejriwal क्यों सफाई नहीं दे रहे, क्यों इलेक्शन कमीशन पे इस वीडियो को रुकवाने के लिए गए अगर वीडियो झूठी है? फर्स्ट। सेकेंडली, अरविंद केजरीवाल ने कल ये कहा कि हिंदुओं मुझे कुछ हिंदू मिले, वो डरे हुए हैं, वो यहां बिजनेस नहीं कर पा रहे। मैंने उनको आश्वासन दिलाया कि अगर हमारी सरकार बनेगी तो आपको डरने की जरूरत नहीं है। ये कौन से हिंदू थे? इनको किनसे खतरा था? क्या हम सिखों से खतरा था? हम सिख कब अलगाववादी बन गए? दूसरा मेरा सवाल। और तीसरी बात, क्या ये झूठ है कि अरविंद केजरीवाल 2017 में एक अलगाववादी के घर रुके थे और केपीएस गिल ने उसके ऊपर प्रतिक्रिया कहते हुए कहा था कि अरविंद केजरीवाल ने जानने अनजाने में अलगाववादियों का, आतंकवादियों का साथ दिया है?
Three questions.
पैसे से भी और वोटर में भी। मुझे बता दें।
Pardon me, Anand Ranganathan and Sanjay Jha, I'm coming to you, but Atishi, 3 questions, 3 quick answers.
देखिए नाविका, Sirsa ji is my senior colleague, but I am amazed at the fact that he is misrepresenting what Arvind Kejriwal said. Sirsa ji, आप अरविंद केजरीवाल जी की प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस देख लीजिए, उनकी पूरी बात कर लीजिए। उन्होंने पंजाब के हर व्यक्ति को आश्वासन दिया है कि वो किसी भी धर्म के हो, वो किसी भी जाति के हो, पंजाब में हर व्यक्ति के लिए जगह मिलेगी, पंजाब में अमन होगा, चैन होगा, हर व्यक्ति सिक्योरिटी के साथ रह सकता है। वो किसी एक धर्म की बात नहीं करते, वो हर धर्म की बात करते हैं, वो हर जात की बात करते हैं, वो हर पंजाबी की बात करते हैं। दूसरी बात, जो मेरा आपसे सवाल है, आप बताइए।
नहीं, 3 questions थे, 3 questions. First respond. Did he stay at whatever KPS Gill?
I have no idea whose place he stayed at. I have no idea who that person was. My simple question response to this is, if Arvind Kejriwal is a Naxalite, if Arvind Kejriwal is a separatist, if Arvind Kejriwal is a terrorist, what has the BJP government done in the last 5 years?
All right. Let me get in Dr. Anand Ranganathan. Dr. Anand Ranganathan. Phew. You've heard. You've heard.
That was
yeah. You've heard the counter charge that's been going on between the BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party. Your views?
No, good evening, Navika, and good evening to all my wonderful fellow panelists. Now, I've been quite enjoying this, in fact, this tete-a-tete between Sirsa ji and Atishi ji. And if both of them don't mind, I'm going to take both of them to task. Because if you were to right-click the word hypocrisy in Microsoft Word, Navika, the first synonym you will get is AAP. पर मैं उस पर बाद में आऊंगा. सिरसा जी is waxing eloquent about Arvind Kejriwal and his support for Khalistanis. मैं सिरसा जी को रिमाइंड कर दूं, आज सिरसा जी आप बुरा नहीं मानिएगा, आप बीजेपी में हैं, लेकिन 11 जून 2019 आपने कहा था डंके की चोट पे कि सेंटर शुड अपोलोजाइज फॉर ऑपरेशन ब्लू स्टार. भिंडरवाले इज नॉट अ टेररिस्ट, आई एम कोटिंग यू. अगर उसने सिक्की को बचाने की कोशिश करी तो उसमें कोई हर्ज नहीं है, वो टेररिस्ट नहीं है. आज आपके क्या व्यूज हैं सिरसा जी भिंडरवाले पे, ये मैं बाद में पूछूंगा आपसे, या नाविका जी आप पूछिएगा. अब मैं मुद्दे पे आता हूं. आतिशी जी इसको चीज को डिफेंड कर रही हैं, और कल से राघव चड्ढा जी और आपने भी कहा है कि जो भी चैनल इसको दिखाएगा, जो कुमार विश्वास ने कहा है, वी विल टेक लीगल एक्शन. दिस इज हिपोक्रेसी टू द पावर ऑफ इंफिनिटी. देयर होल पार्टी is based on allegation and shoot and scoot. आप खुद जानते हैं, इन्होंने शीला दीक्षित तक को अंबानी का दलाल कहा है, एक प्रूफ आज तक नहीं दिया. और मैं ये जानना चाहता हूं नाविका, दो सवाल है. नंबर वन, what Kumar Vishwas has said against Arvind Kejriwal is the equivalent of Amit Shah alleging something against Narendra Modi. अगर मान लीजिए अमित शाह ने कोई ऐसी बात कही होती, पिछले 24 घंटे में आप और सारे नेता, सारे पॉलिटिशियंस इस पे लगे होते कि इस पे नरेंद्र मोदी जी आप इस पे खुलासा करिए. नंबर दो, नाविका दिस इज फाइनल, लोहा इस लोहे को काटता है. अगर अरविंद केजरीवाल ने आज तक कोई प्रूफ नहीं दिया अपनी एलिगेशन का, तो कुमार विश्वास हु इज द को-फाउंडर ऑफ आप, वो प्रूफ क्यों दें. और फाइनली आप ये आतिशी जी से जरूर पूछिएगा, ये देखिए, अगर आप देख सकती हैं, ये अप्रैल 11 टाइम्स नाउ की ही रिपोर्ट है. Arvind Kejriwal is alleging that Pakistan carried out Pulwama attack to benefit PM Modi, and he is stressing that there is a secret pact between Imran Khan and Narendra Modi. Navika, please ask Atishi ji, what is the proof Arvind Kejriwal had of alleging a secret pact between Imran Khan and Narendra Modi? Please ask her, I beg of you.
Atishi, would you want to respond to that?
See, Navika, I have a simple question to which I still have not got an answer. That these parties, Akali Dal, BJP, Congress, who are all singing exactly the same
Atishi,
tune.
I'm sorry, I have to interrupt you. Big breaking news coming in at this point. Election Commission of India has withdrawn the order of the Chief Electoral Officer of Punjab. The ECI has just withdrawn that order. And now there is no bar on running Kumar Vishwas's video now. I don't know what's going on. The Chief Electoral Officer of Punjab was approached by the Aam Aadmi Party, and an order was passed which we broke just about half an hour ago, and there was a restraining order on all television channels from running the video of Kumar Vishwas, and now the Election Commission of India has withdrawn that order. My colleague Madhav Das Gopalakrishnan joins me live on this big breaking news. Madhav, what can you tell us? I think this must be the strangest turn of events that we've seen in a long time in the middle of an election. The CEO passes an order, the Election Commission withdraws the order.
Well, Navika, this is highly unusual, we can tell our viewers, because normally, when there are complaints that are dealt with at the level of the state, it is the state that gives an order, and very rarely does the Election Commission come in between that. Now, clearly, of course, there must have been good reasons for the Election Commission to decide that that order of the CEO perhaps needs to be rescinded. What are those reasons, and what are the details of that? We will get more information for our viewers in a short point of time, but certainly, of course, extremely unusual situation. Now, normally what we see is that if political parties have a problem which is at the national level, they approach the Election Commission of India, and the Election Commission's full bench then sits and decides whether there is a genuine violation of the Model Code of Conduct. The Media Content Monitoring Committee, which is there at the central level, can also look into it. But this is perhaps for the first time in recent years, at least, that I've heard of such a situation where the state CEO has put out an order. It's there in black and white. We put it out for our viewers, and in fact, we've been following that order to the T up till now. But now the Election Commission intervening this certainly will be quite interesting to see what the reasons are given by the Election Commission for
let's just put out that order earlier. Nizam bhai, if we have that order and if we can take it on our screen, there was a Chief Electoral Officer order. Madhav, if you can show that on a screen to our viewers, that order on your screens was the one which was restraining all television channels from showing this.
All right, Navika, I have a quick update. I have a quick update from the Election Commission, and in fact, that order has been withdrawn by the CEO himself. So technically, the order withdrawal hasn't happened at the level of the Election Commission of India. Just a quick clarification that I have coming in from my sources over here at the Election Commission. They're saying that the CEO office itself has withdrawn that particular order that was put out a few hours earlier. Navika.
The CEO has had a change of mind, Madhav. Does that happen? Is this, the Election Commission here that must have told the CEO to withdraw the order and wait for instructions? What does this really mean?
Well, Navika, this is quite unusual. As you really know, this is something that just does not happen, because the Election Commission, once it decides on a particular matter, whether it is dates, whether it is, such issues of violation of the Model Code of Conduct, normally it is cast in stone. Very rarely do we see this kind of a review of an order that is already put out, because that order in black and white is taken after much consideration within the Election Commission. There's a lot of discussion of the legal aspects. But
normally, Madhav, in your experience, if the CEO gets a complaint of this kind, it would normally come and a full election bench would sit, consider. Do you think the CEO passed the order in a hurry? Do you think the Election Commission, if you can check, is there a date on when the complaint came in and when the CEO passed the order? Because it would be interesting to watch. This is an unusual development that's taken place. The CEO's order would have mentioned the date of the complaint coming in and then the decision.
Well, absolutely, Navika. This is, as you rightly said, that particular order, I had read it a short while earlier, and it did have all of these details in terms of, I'm just trying to pull out that particular order on my phone. But yes, it did have details, and if I can just ask my colleagues in our input desk to give us that particular order, where in fact those details were mentioned. Clearly, of course, in that it was mentioned that it was based on the complaint of Raghav Chadha of the Aam Aadmi Party, that the Election Commission has, or the CEO's office has decided to in fact look into that particular order. If I can request my colleague Anubhav to just give me that.
That order, that complaint was on the 16th of February. That is yesterday.
Yes.
And the CEO has passed the order on 17th, I think.
Yes.
That is today. And the Election Commission, hasn't deliberated on the order, I assume, because 16th complaint is received and then the order is also passed by the CEO without it being referred to the Election Commission. Can you confirm that for our viewers?
Well, 16th, you're absolutely right, Navika. The first complaint was on 16th by Raghav Chadha, the co-in-charge. Then the Aam Aadmi Party again complained on the 17th, that is today. The copy attached to the video in question has spread its tentacles manifold and was published by Mr. Vishwas with other political parties to execute the vested political interests. The Election Commission's job and the job of the CEOs to ensure a level playing field. So the Aam Aadmi Party's argument is that that level playing field is being manipulated on religious and other grounds which have been clearly put out. And that argument, at least prima facie, appears to have been accepted by the CEO's office. Now, whether the CEO's office has actually contacted the Election Commission and sought directions from them on this particular matter, because it is a matter that involves, issues pertaining to national security, issues pertaining to appeal as far as religious grounds, etc. are concerned. That's something that we'll certainly have to clarify from the Commission itself. We don't have a commission on that. Wait. But certainly, a review such as this is something that is highly unusual. That's
we'll wait for you to get more details from the Election Commission on what really transpired. Thanks, Madhav. Happy to take an update as soon as you have that information. But let me go back to our panel this evening. And what do you make of this, Sanjay Jha? Isko kehte hain kahani mein twist. And there are too many twists.
Well, Navika, one thing is very obvious, that the Aam Aadmi Party is very paranoid about what Kumar Vishwas said yesterday. I mean, they have pressed the panic buttons, and they do believe that, ultimately in a democratic election, a lot of voters decide literally a couple of days or even hours before they go to the ballot box or the EVM machine. So I think the truth is this, and I heard Atishi kind of take a very self-righteous, sanctimonious position. But I have been, facing Aam Aadmi Party since 2011. Anand is absolutely right. The chickens are coming home to roost. And this is the Aam Aadmi Party getting a taste of their own medicine. If today they believe that Kumar Vishwas, whom they had so much of Vishwas on not too long ago, but has now turned into a rogue character, the fact of the matter is the Aam Aadmi Party destroyed reputations. They destroyed political careers. And I will tell you very honestly on your program, the Congress party did not lose the Lok Sabha election in 2014. It was destroyed by Arvind Kejriwal and Anna Hazare agitation in 2011. I can read out to you, Navika, a laundry list of political personalities, some even relatives of people who were not spared. And today for the Aam Aadmi Party to take this posture that we are holier than thou, and 5 years ago, why wasn't an investigation taken? Why I want to ask Atishi this question. Atishi, go back 12 years, forget 5 years. Can you want to take a look at the number of outrageous acquisitions you made on people with a fairly impeccable track record? You made them actually literally, run for cover, while Mr. Kejriwal eventually ended up becoming the Chief Minister of Delhi. So let's not try here and be politically a little...
All right, you made the charge at Atishi. I have to give her the opportunity to respond to you. Atishi.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sanjay Ji, every time Aam Aadmi Party has made an allegation, there also we asked for an investigation to happen. We asked for all central investigating agencies to investigate the corruption that was being done by the Congress party. Today also my question to this unholy alliance of Congress, Akali and BJP, which is making exactly verbatim the same allegations. Verbatim Rahul Gandhi, verbatim Narendra Modi, verbatim Sukhbir Singh Badal, they all saying verbatim the same things. I am asking this unholy alliance of BJP, Congress and the Akalis that if they have known all this so-called separatists, so-called Naxalites, so-called Khalistanis, so-called divisive politics of Arvind Kejriwal, then for 5 years, why no action has been taken? Congress has been in government in Punjab, why did Congress not take action? BJP has been in power in the central government, why did they not take action? This proves the fact that these are utter lies and utter fabrication and rumors that are being spread before the election, because all three parties, Rahul Gandhi...
But it is true, Atishi, there have been so many charges that have been made by the Aam Aadmi Party in the past, naming industrialists, naming so many people in this country. And on many of those, there are defamation cases that were mounted on the Aam Aadmi Party. Can you deny the fact that some of those defamation cases had to be literally settled?
My simple question, Navika ji, is for any accusation that Aam Aadmi Party made about corruption of different leaders, have an investigation. Have all central investigating agencies, state investigating agencies investigate those allegations.
Well, hands are going up around the panel.
5 years, why have these allegations?
Anand Ranganathan first, Sirsa ji, आप फोन पे किसी से बात कर रहे थे, क्या पूछ रहे थे? हमारी खबर कंफर्म कर रहे थे कि नहीं? मैं आपसे पूछना चाहती हूँ, आपने बड़ी जल्दी से फोन लगाया था, शायद खबर आपको टाइम्स नाउ से ही मिलती है.
But Navika, I need to tell Atishi, the acquisition that the BJP and Congress are together.
मैं नाविका जी ये जानने की कोशिश कर रहा था.
But Sanjay ji, exactly the same language. You hear Rahul Gandhi's speech, you hear
नाविका जी मैं
speech, you hear Sukhbir Singh Badal's speech.
That is hardly. No, Atishi ji, with all due respect, that is hardly an issue. That is hardly a defense you can take, because if you go to Uttar Pradesh, you will hear similar speeches from Mayawati, similar speeches from Akhilesh Yadav, similar speeches from Priyanka Gandhi Vadra against Yogi. So whenever there are contestants who see, one common, competition on the other side, they make the same kind of statements. So I don't think that kind of defense really holds out here. But coming to you, Dr. Anand Ranganathan, before I check...
These three parties, Congress, BJP, Akali Dal, they are verbatim using the same words. Navika, just see the speeches. Why? Because they are scared of Aam Aadmi.
visiting card. You are getting.
Bhagwant Mann, and they know that
Navika,
Okay, all right, all right.
please,
सिरसा साहब, आपकी लैंग्वेज कांग्रेस से मिल रही है, ये तो बड़ी अजीब बात है। सिरसा साहब, ये आप पे चार्ज है आतिशी जी का।
देखिए नाविका, जो आम आदमी पार्टी का सारा सिस्टम है वो एक हवा में बनाया हुआ सिस्टम है। ये बातें इनको बहुत अच्छी करनी आती हैं, कल माफी मांग लेंगे। पर इंटरेस्टिंग ये है कि जब चन्नी के ऊपर 10 करोड़ रुपए पकड़ा गया तो तब हम सब लोग उनके ऊपर अटैक कर रहे थे क्योंकि चोरी के पैसे पकड़े गए। और अगर चन्नी ने कल बोला कि यूपी बिहार के खिलाफ तो सब उसके खिलाफ बोल रहे थे। अब चन्नी कहेगा जी आम आदमी पार्टी, बीजेपी और अकाली दल का अलायंस है। अकाली दल ने बेअदबी की तो चन्नी भी वही बोल रहे थे, मैं भी वही बोल रहा था, अरविंद केजरीवाल भी बोल रहा था। तो सुखबीर सिंह बादल कहेंगे जी बीजेपी, आम आदमी पार्टी और चन्नी का अलायंस है। तो अब बीजेपी ने के ऊपर वार करेंगे तो तीनों एक लाइन बोलते हैं, तो फिर हम तीनों का अलायंस है। देखिए झूठ तो इनका कितना बोल सकते हैं, उसकी कोई सीमा नहीं। उसकी सीमा बस इसी तरह आप जंच कर सकते हैं इलेक्शन आने के बाद माफी मांगने की। ये देश के इतिहास में फर्स्ट टाइम हुआ है, कितने बड़े लीडर ने देश के 20 छोटे भैया नेताओं से भी माफिया मांगी है। नाविका प्लीज देखो, ये बात बहुत गलत है। जब इसको सच्चाई सामने आती है तो आतिशी जी एकदम घबरा जाती हैं। इनका चेहरा देखो, यू सी फेस, सी हर एक्सप्रेशंस, शी गॉट पैनिक मोड। और इनको डांट पड़ती है कि अरविंद केजरीवाल डांटेंगे कि तुम बोली क्यों नहीं। दिस इज नॉट फेयर। At least let us somebody put up a question and then you should answer. Navika, why you getting why is she getting so panic? Navika, आजकल क्यों पैनिक है इतना डर क्यों गए हैं? इतना डर क्यों गए हैं आप? क्यों डर गए हैं? आप तो कभी डरने वाले नहीं थे। आप तो मेरी बहन कभी डरते नहीं थे। मार्लिना, मेरी मार्लिना बहन, आप तो डरते नहीं थे। मार्लिना जी, आप तो डरते नहीं थे कभी भी। मार्लिना जी, इतना घबरा क्यों गए आज टीवी पे? क्योंकि आपकी सच्चाई पकड़ी गई। आप तो कभी डरा ही नहीं करते थे मार्लिना बहन, आप तो बहुत दलेर थे, आप तो बड़ी हिम्मती थे।
All right, one minute. May I come in? I want to. We've got the withdrawal copy. पहले सिरसा साहब, आप किसको फोन करके पूछ रहे थे, क्या पूछ रहे थे, ये भी बता दीजिए सबको।
मैं विड्रॉल कॉपी मांगने की कोशिश कर रहा था। I was trying to get the withdrawal copy।
चलिए, आप इतनी देर फोन मत करिए, विड्रॉल कॉपी भी आपको दिखा देते हैं। विड्रॉल कॉपी भी दिखा देते हैं। माय कॉलीग माधव दास गोपालकृष्णन स्टैंडिंग बाय with the withdrawal of the order copy. Madhav, take us through what is the argument given for withdrawing this order that was given just about an hour ago.
Well, Navika, it's a night of unusual developments. Here the subject is about 4 times longer than the order itself. It is dated today, Office of Chief Electoral Officer of Punjab. The subject is restraining the media houses, political parties, representatives from publishing, circulating provocative, communally divisive, inflammatory interview video of Kumar Vishwas given to AAP, which has been maliciously manufactured and circulating in collusion with disruptive elements. And it goes on. The one-line order, the 1.5 line order is that the letter number dated so-and-so dated 17th of February on the above subject cited is hereby withdrawn with immediate effect. It's signed by the CEO of Punjab, Dr. S. Karuna Raju. No reasons have been cited why it's withdrawn, but what sources in the Election Commission who have been speaking to say that normally important matters pertaining to the MCC or any such violation are referred by the CEO to the Election Commission or the higher authorities, and those higher authorities then consider it on merits on the basis of the facts that are placed before them. In this particular case, what sources are indicating is that that did not happen, and that is why after in fact it was found out that this was not referred such an important matter, that this order now stands withdrawn. So day of huge developments as far as the Kumar Vishwas video is concerned, but for the moment at least the CEO's office, which put out this particular order about 3 hours ago, has had to withdraw it.
I think the CEO of Punjab doesn't know the functioning of the Election Commission as much as you and I know, because we've covered it for far longer than this CEO has been in the position that he has been. What can I say? Thank you very much, Madhav. And this is exactly what we were speculating could have been the reason for the withdrawal of this order. हाँ भाई, Dr. Anand Ranganathan, क्या बोलूँ मैं? It happens only in India. वो एक गाना भी है ना, It happens only in India. You know, and our experience of covering these things, we sort of know procedures the way they are. But what do you make of this?
No, but before I say that, Navika, I have a grouse to pick with you yet again. I mean, just because I don't have a red glistening iPhone 13 Max Pro like you do, why do you ignore me so much? मैंने आपसे 2 रिक्वेस्ट करी।
Sorry, 13 नहीं है, कवर है इसके ऊपर चढ़ा हुआ, पुराना है आईफोन। it's not red at all.
iPhone ही है ना, Chinese तो
हाँ है पर 13 नहीं है. It's on my wish list, but never mind.
No, I had two requests. मैंने आपसे कहा था कि आप सिरसा जी से पूछिए कि does he still stand by his June 11, 2019 statement that Jarnail Singh Bhindawale was not a terrorist.
Response Sirsa साहब. Straight question by Dr. Anand Ranganathan. इधर उधर मत करिएगा. सवाल का सीधा जवाब दीजिए.
Operation Blue Star. Simple. Does he still stand by it?
सिरसा साहब ऑडियो आ रहा है?
सडनली गायब हो गया ऑडियो.
ऑडियो आ रहा है?
नहीं आ रहा. But
sorry, I think his you know, this is truly Anand Ranganathan. This is truly actually an audio line failure. His picture has got frozen. This is not him playing truant, but actually the link. Sirsa Saab will try and connect back to him.
Yes, but Abhi, meanwhile, my second grouse to you, Navika ji, please ask Atishi ji, what is the proof Arvind Kejriwal had when he said that there is a secret pact between Imran Khan and Narendra Modi for Pulwama? What was the proof Arvind Kejriwal had?
Atishi, question in your court.
देखिए आनंद रंगनाथन जी, आम आदमी पार्टी किसी भी एलिगेशन के लिए इन्वेस्टिगेशन में तैयार है, चाहे वो हमारे खिलाफ हो या हम किसी के खिलाफ कर रहे हो. वी आर रेडी फॉर एनी काइंड ऑफ इन्वेस्टिगेशन. हियर आल्सो अगेन एंड अगेन आई एम आस्किंग द सेम क्वेश्चन दैट इफ
आप बैन क्यों करवा रही है कुमार विश्वास के वीडियो को? बैन क्यों करवा रही है? आप ये कह सकती हैं, आप ये कह सकती हैं कि
serious allegations that the BJP had, that the Congress had, that the Akalis had, that Arvind Kejriwal is a terrorist, that Arvind Kejriwal is a Naxalite, that Arvind Kejriwal is a separatist. That what have they been doing for 5 years? How is it that they have remembered this only 2 days before the election? Why was the state machinery of Punjab?
But Atishi, your reaction to the election commission actually withdrawing this order, the chief electoral officer has withdrawn the order. Your first reaction to that?
See, Navika ji, we respect whatever decision the election commission takes. I think the election commission in India has always been beyond reproach. I think in terms of having free and fair elections, India has one of the most outstanding institutions. So we respect whatever decision they take. This question is a question that needs to be answered by the BJP, by the Congress party, by the Akali Dal, of this unholy alliance of these three parties, is why in the last 5 years, जहाँ पे उनकी सरकार रही है, why have they not investigated? Why have they not taken action? Again,
all right. Sirsa Saab is back with us, and Sirsa Saab, before your connection froze, Dr. Anand Ranganathan asked you the same question that he had asked earlier. What is your view on Bhindranwale ji today when you are a member of the BJP?
मेरे व्यूज कोई बदले नहीं है. मैं आज भी नविका आपको कहना चाहता हूं कि उन बातों के ऊपर जाकर जिसके कारण एक माहौल खराब किया जा सकता हो, लोगों को आस्थाओं को भड़काया जा सकता हो, उन इश्यूज के ऊपर जाकर आप बोलने से कुछ लाभ होने वाला नहीं होता. आप एक समझे कर लीजिए सेंटीमेंट्स के साथ जुड़ी हुई चीजें जिनका सबको नुकसान होता है, उन बातों पे जाके आप उस लड़ाई को खड़ा करके दोबारा से उस आग को लगाने का काम करना कोई समझदारी नहीं है. मैं बार बार इस बात को बहुत जोर देकर कहता आया हूं, एक ऐसा पास्ट रहा है जिसके अंदर बहुत सारे लोगों ने बहुत सारे तरीके की भावनाएं झेली हैं, और उन भावनाओं को दोबारा भड़काना ये कोई समझदारी की बात नहीं है. और मैं तो कहना चाहता हूं, मेरी बात छोड़िए, मेरी बहन आतिशी यहां बैठी हैं या कोई और बैठा है, आप बताइए इन चीजों के ऊपर आप दोबारा नमक छिड़के. दूसरी बात, मैं किस मुंह से कहूं, मेरे लोग कत्लेआम किया, 8,000 से ज्यादा दरबार साहब में लोग मारे गए, 20,000 से ज्यादा देश के अंदर लोग मारे गए, आज तक उनको इंसाफ नहीं मिला. उनकी बात
You are absolutely right. 1984 is best at the moment forgotten. Let's move forward and let's look at the current situation and the issue that is at hand. And Sanjay Jha, I want to ask you, the chief electoral officer issues an order, it's taken back, we're back to square one. Do you think this issue is something that has ramifications for the elections, and that is why it is being raised by the opposition parties?
Well, just think about it, Navika, that there is an allegation made by one of the founders of the party that a lot of people believe is in serious contention in Punjab. I don't believe they're going to win at all, but nevertheless, if the opinion polls indicate that, I respect it. If there is an allegation made that the founder of that party and the current boss of that party actually said that he would not be averse to becoming the chief minister of an independent state of Khalistan, that to my mind is one of the most diabolical, dangerous and perhaps frightening statement that anybody could have made. Now the problem for Aam Aadmi Party and Atishi today, and I understand a predicament, is this is not said by somebody from the BJP or the Congress or any third combined. This is said by somebody who's been part of your party. And therefore, at this point of time, you have no place to hide. And you can indulge in all the rhetoric saying that Mr. Sirsa's party and my party are in some kind of an alliance, but that I think is absolute outlandish, outrageous nonsense. I think one should not even waste any time entertaining that kind of absolute gibberish.
By the Congress, by the Akali, by the BJP, and Congress party has been in power in Punjab for the past 5 years. If there was any allegation such like this, if there was any element of truth in this allegation, why was no investigation done? Why was no action taken?
But that's a very hackneyed line, Atishi.
The Sirsa's party has been in power in the central government since 2017 to today. Why has no investigation been done? Why has no action been taken?
Why have you got a Lokpal bill in Delhi?
Exactly. What
you won an election on Lokpal, and you don't have a Lokpal bill in Delhi.
Well, this entire controversy doesn't seem to be ending anytime soon. Well, Punjab is 72 hours away from polling. People, when they push the buttons on the EVMs, I believe they will make an informed choice. And I always say this, never ever think that people of India or people of any state are silly, stupid, don't know what is good for them. ये जो पब्लिक है ये सब जानती है और जब पब्लिक डिसाइड करती है तो उस पर कोई भी सवाल नहीं उठा सकता. So let's leave this issue because this is on the penultimate day of the final day of campaigning in Punjab that this controversy picks up. What will be the response? Will the Election Commission, which has rescinded the order, in fact the CEO of Punjab has withdrawn the order that he first put out, will there be an order by tomorrow? Will it be before the Punjab elections? We'll keep you ahead on that big breaking news that's coming in on this particular issue. But for now, it's a controversy out there in the open. Who's going to benefit from it? Who's going to lose ground? Only the public knows, and they will take a call. Let's leave it to the people of Punjab to make their decision. Till then, of course, politics will remain and politicians will be politicians. Thank you very much to all my guests and you, dear viewers, for joining me on the News Hour tonight. Good night, taking a short break, but the News Hour at 10 coming up on the other.